Adam Dalgleish, on leave in North Norfolk, has made a friend, Meg Dennison, a former teacher. He has also been drawn into tensions over the Whistler murders, which the locals associate with the nuclear power station Larksoken. Researcher Toby Gledhill has joined the anti-nuclear protest group run by Neil Pascoe. Amy, an unmarried mother who shares Neil's caravan, is having an affair with the station's director, Alex Mayer. Near the beach that night, in the darkness, the murderer watches and waits.
It was either that or a recording of womb noises. My mother was very keen on womb noises. All in all, we decided that Brahms would probably be a bit more restful.
For whom?
Everyone.
Hello? Oh, hello, Mrs. Cartwright. She's fine. She's fine.
Do you know what you're going to have? Well, they can tell nowadays, can't they? Ultrasound, that sort of thing.
No. We felt there was no point, really.
Or like opening Christmas presents too early.
Exactly.
You're not still here, are you? Adam must have seen enough of the nursery by now.
No, I asked to see you.
It's for you.
Who is it?
3 guesses.
Hello, Mummy?
Oh, well, if it's not the press, it's the chief constable. If it's not the chief constable, it's the mother-in-law. The blessed Mrs. Cartwright. I never realised there could be so much truth in all those old jokes. Oh, by the way, you're in luck. There it is, and I think there's 2 or 3 in there.
Oh, thanks so much. Household effects clear for cash, no job too small. Sounds just the thing.
Do you know, I wouldn't mind if they were asking different questions, but they're not. It's always the same thing. When are you going to catch the Whistler? Well, how the hell do I know? I mean, I'm only human.
And Mother's worried too?
Oh, yes, petrified. She thinks it's too dangerous. She wants Susie to have the baby at home. Well, this is her home, for God's sake. No doubt she believes her daughter has married beneath her only child, you see. I should have known.
Where does she live?
The mother, in York. For God's sake, let's have a drink.
No, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah, honestly. Give my regards to Susie, and I'm sure things will work out all right.
Yeah, I will.
Thanks for the paper.
Oh, don't mention it.
Yes, tomorrow, 10:30. Listen, I'd have been fine on the train, you know. Okay, all right, I know. Yep, okay. All right then. Good night. Terry. Look, I'm gonna go home.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, if you like. I mean, it seems the only way.
It's not the only way. It's not. Do what you like. I'm going to the station.
Dr. Mayer?
Hello, Commander. Trouble?
Yes, worse than that. I need to get to a phone.
There's one here. Oh, yeah. Help yourself.
Thank you. It's Hilary Robards. We've just found her body.
What?
She's dead.
Emergency, which service?
Please? Yes, down on the beach, thank you. Thank you.
We all warned her not to swim alone. She wouldn't listen. Can't happen to me. That's the second victim from Larksoken. Where is she?
There's nothing you can do.
I want to see her.
Better not. The fewer people who disturb the area, the better.
Good God, man. Can't you ever stop thinking like a policeman? I said I wanted to see her, all right? I gave her that locket. Her birthday. June 29th. One of the metal workers in the power station made it for me. Remarkable, some of the delicacy of their work there. For God's sake, Dalgleish, can't we cover her up?
No, I'm sorry, we mustn't disturb her.
It's the Whistler. You said so yourself.
Or whatever it is. All murderers bring something to the scene of the crime, and they always leave something behind.
Did you know her then?
Slightly. I met her just the once, last Thursday dinner party. Hilary Robarts, I think she pronounces it. Works at the power station.
At the power station? And who's this again?
That's Dr. Mayer.
Oh, the power station director.
Well, I flagged him down on his way home. I used his car phone to call him.
So that's our Dr. Mayer, is it? I've read a lot about him. Look, tell him he can't do anything here except get in the way. Persuade him to go home. If he won't be persuaded, try ordering.
So?
And, Jumbo, if he won't go, get the screens round, will you?
Yeah. That should spoil his fun.
He's not a voyeur.
No, sir.
I'm sorry. He knew her well. She was one of his senior officers.
Well, whatever she was, he can't do anything for her now. No bag of any sort.
No, I gather she used to keep a door key in the locket round her neck.
You didn't touch the body, I presume?
Oh, no. Just the hair to test for wetness.
She lived round here, you see?
A cottage at the end of the track there. I thought it might be open. I could phone you from there.
But it wasn't?
No. But there'd been a break-in.
Only me. Glass of water.
The others all right?
Fast asleep. Who was that who knocked on the door?
It's not important.
Mr. Jager rang a while back.
You? What do you want?
I don't know. I said you were in the studio, not to be disturbed.
Right. Good girl. Yeah, good girl.
Dad?
Did you live here alone?
As far as I know, yes. There's something worries me about the painting. I mean, was the glass smashed first and then the painting placed inside? And if so, is that how it got slashed? The last time I saw it was at Ryan Blaney's place. He painted it.
Ryan Blaney. Well, whatever. It's a dramatic way of delivering a painting. Should we look inside? Well, she's been drinking with somebody here tonight. There's 2 glasses.
Yes. It's a good bottle of wine.
Is it? I'll take your word for it.
Not much of it's been drunk, though.
Well, perhaps I guess didn't want any.
Guess.
Well, 2 glasses.
There's only one of them's been used, then. Do you notice, look. Chip?
Well, so?
Well, some people don't like using a glass like that.
Well, why didn't you just break it and chuck it away? No point in keeping a glass if you don't intend to drink from it. When faced with alternatives, I generally choose the most likely. 2 glasses, 2 people. What time did you leave our house? About 9:15?
Well, thereabouts, yes.
And what were you doing between then and the time you found the body? I'm sorry, but I have to ask you this question.
Walking, thinking.
What's that, about an hour and a half? You didn't see anybody or anything?
No, no one at all.
Gov, found a print, sir, about 40 yards into the trees.
One on pine needles? You've got to be joking.
No, not pine needles, a patch of sand. There's a good one, too.
Lead the way. It's an attractive woman.
Yes.
There is no point in blaming yourself. It's not as if we didn't warn her. Swimming alone at night. It's not the most sensible pastime, even without the whistler.
Still can't believe she's dead. She used to have a recurring nightmare. After the abortion. A young nurse, smiling, placing a newborn baby in her arms, and then the matron rushing in and snatching it away again. This isn't your baby, Miss Robards. We flushed yours down the lavatory, remember? I can hear her now.
It was her choice. You said so at the time.
No.
It would never have worked, Alex. An affair, yes, but not marriage, not with your new job. She was far too manipulative. Do you remember that first time she came here for a meal? How she insisted on staying behind to help with the clearing up? Staking her claim.
Nonsense.
Do you know what she told me? If you've got health, looks and brains, you can take what you want.
That's what her father used to tell her.
Well, some credo, look where it got her.
They'll suspect me, you know. The police.
Nonsense, of course they won't. She's dead, Alex. The Whistler has done you a favor.
Do we really need quite such an audience? It's not Tosca.
That's it.
What, is it just this one?
So far, we're still looking, sir.
Have forensics seen this yet?
On the way, Gov, already.
Good.
Looks like some sort of trainer, doesn't it?
There's a bumble I think they'll find, sir.
A what?
Had the outline of a bee on the sole.
A bumble? Never heard of those before.
Oh, they're expensive. Also, kids with money like to have them. Status, you know.
When did we last get some rain?
Oh, last night, latest, 11:30.
11:30. You see, if this was made before then, we'd expect some spotting, but there isn't any.
You know, you sell bumble trainers at that sports shop in Blakeney, Gov. That's the nearest. I can send a chap down and have a few words if you want.
Just the one print, you see, and it's off the path. Now, that is odd.
So what are you saying? That maybe it was deliberate?
Planned deception. Well, it could be.
On a preliminary examination, it's clear enough. Death by strangulation. The ligature was smooth, approximately 2 centimeters in width, belt or a strap. Dog lead, perhaps. It would have taken strength, but not inordinate strength, given the advantage of surprise. He probably stood in the shelter of the pines, then stepped forward and slung the strap over her head as she stooped to retrieve her towel. She made 1 or 2 convulsive movements with the feet. You can see where the ground is marked. Otherwise, fairly quick.
And the time?
Somewhere between 8:30 and 10. I'll be able to be more precise after the post-mortem tomorrow.
He?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry, you said he when referring to the murderer just now.
Yes.
Was there any indication that the attacker was definitely a man?
No, not as yet.
So given that inordinate strength might not be necessary, we can't really be certain of the sex of the attacker.
That's correct. Now, if you'll excuse me, it is rather late.
Toby, stop ringing me, will you? I might as well say it now. There isn't any future, so be sensible. Okay? You go on ringing and I won't answer.
Is something bothering you?
Something. Just can't quite figure it out just yet.
Jago.
Did you give Dad the message?
Yeah, I told him. Is he there? No, I'm afraid not. He's still asleep.
Jonathan? Hi. Look, I need to see you as soon as possible.
You say it's got to be here?
Yes, it has. I'll be in the library in 10 minutes. Bye.
Telephone.
Mr. Jacob again.
Again?
He phoned last night too, remember? I called you from the shed, but you couldn't hold on long enough.
What do they want?
To tell you that Hilary Robarts is dead. Murdered.
Finally got her there. And she was asking for it. When did it happen?
Last night. Mr. Jago rang last night too, remember?
Your mammy wouldn't like you to tell lies, chicken.
But it isn't a lie, Daddy. You were out in the shed and I told you when you came back.
That's right. That's right, you told me. And that's what you'll tell the police when they come, all right?
Will it make any difference to us? Miss Robarts being dead.
Could mean we're safe.
Forever and ever.
Depends.
On what?
And who she's left the cottage to in her will. They might want to sell it too.
Couldn't we buy it then?
It's not that simple. It's all right for the moment, anyway. We don't have to move out immediately.
Will the police be coming here?
They're bound to.
You were here last night, Daddy.
How would you know? I mean, you was up in your bedroom.
Not until 8:15. Anyway, I could hear the television.
Yeah, but the television isn't an alibi, chicken.
I was thirsty. And I came down for some water, remember?
Hilary's.
Christine Baldwin's too, just in case.
Good. We're probably going to need an interview room. Police are on their way.
I'll have a word.
Right. You haven't come across Toby, have you?
No?
I'm trying to raise it ever since I got in.
Perhaps his motorbike's packed up again.
Yes? That's all right, Commander. We'd be pleased to see you today.
No, I'd be quite happy to put it off. You must have enough to do without worrying about conducting tours.
Not at all, no. It'll be good to see you. Absolutely.
3 it is, then.
Fine. Goodbye.
All right. I knew the picture was missing, if that's what you mean.
When did you know?
Last night, about 9:30.
9:30, you sure about that?
Well, it may have been a few minutes later. Miss Mayer was calling round for it. She was taking it to Norwich with her this morning. Ask her, she'll tell you.
Oh, don't worry, we shall.
So where is it now?
It's at our forensic lab. We'll need you to identify it, but we can talk about that when we call back. Later.
You call back?
Yes, I'm sorry, didn't I say? We'll need to talk to the children. We'll bring a WPC with us. Listen, are you sure you have no idea who might be responsible?
Off for the picture. Since when do the police care about painting?
We care about criminal damage, Mr. Blaney. But unfortunately, this is far more serious. Last night, Hilary Robarts was murdered.
I know. George Jago telephoned me this morning. From the pub.
Right. Well, we'll be back later, between 4 and 5. Could you please make sure everybody's in by then?
Of course.
Hi.
Hi.
You wanted to see me?
You've heard the news.
Well, Hillary Robarts. Yes.
Police are going to be here any minute. That's what I have to talk to you about. They're going to ask me where I was last night. I intend telling them that you and I spent the evening together.
I don't understand.
Well, I'm going to need you to back me up.
You want me to lie?
And I thought you really cared for me.
This is a murder investigation, Caroline. You can't lie to the police.
Do you think I had anything to do with it? Don't you trust me?
Of course I do.
You said your parents were going to spend the evening with your sister in Norwich. Did they go?
Yes?
So you were alone most of yesterday?
Well, I went for a drive.
Where?
Round and about Blakeney Point. I went for a walk in the marshes.
What time did you get back?
About 10:30.
Did anyone see you?
Not that I know of.
Good, we're all right then.
I can't do it, Caroline. I'm sorry. It was bad enough running that disc for your friend.
Of course you can. You must.
They'll know I'm lying. Can't help it. I've never been any good at lying. I'll just look guilty and embarrassed.
Look, all you have to do is transpose the 2 nights. Friday night becomes yesterday. Don't fabricate, don't invent. Just tell them what we did, what we ate, the food, the wine, what we talked about. It'll sound true because it was true.
But what happened was private. It was for us alone.
Not anymore. Look. Just tell them we spent the evening together making love. In my bedroom on my bed. You do remember?
Hello. Are you all right?
Hello. Yes, fine, sorry. I was miles away.
Are you sure you're all right?
I'm just so shocked and appalled at what's happened to Hillary Robarts. I can't believe it. How many more will there be? I know one shouldn't become obsessed, but it's hard. Sometimes I almost feel as if I'm testing out my nerve, playing at being frightened. Imagining him out there in the darkness. Watching, waiting.
How are the coppers?
Safely with her daughter. Oh, yes, I know what you're thinking, and you're quite right, of course. But this never bothered me before, living on my own.
Chief Inspector Rickards, Providence CID.
Look, I have to go now, all right?
I rang you last night. You weren't in.
What time?
About 20 to 10.
Why? Why did you ring?
Just wanted to talk to you. I was lonely, I suppose.
All right, you might as well know. I was on the headland. I was taking Remus for a run. I parked at the top of the track and walked down as far as the ruins.
You were actually there?
Yes.
She was probably lying within a few yards of you all the time.
You see, if the police start digging, they're going to suspect me.
Why?
Hillary's father was a businessman. My mother knew him. She trusted him. She invested everything she had in Peter Robarts' company, every penny Daddy left her. She lost it all. He ruined her. He forced her to spend her last years in poverty, and I lost the chance of a decent education. I've hated him all my life, and I've hated Hillary because of him. If the police find that out, they won't leave me alone. But if I have an alibi, that'll be the end of it.
You'd hardly call it a motive after all this time. Besides, what about the other murders?
I've just got thing about the police. It's irrational, I know, but I couldn't face up to a real interrogation. Oh, right. I'm asking too much. I know how you feel about truth, honesty, your Boy Scout Christianity.
No, it's not that.
Isn't it? You say you love me, but you won't even lie for me. It's not as if it was a very important lie either. I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody. But oh no, it's against your religion. Your precious religion didn't stop you going to bed with me, did it? I thought Christians were supposed to be too pure for casual fornication.
All right, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it if it's that important to you.
Good. And we shouldn't forget something else either. It'll be an alibi for you, too.
You have our insecurity, of course. We'd appreciate it, though.
Certainly, I'd be very grateful for their cooperation.
What's going on? What bloody hell do you think you're doing here? I'm sorry, sir. Look, I need to see her. I'm a friend of hers. I'm a friend of Miss Robarts. Is that so difficult to understand? Has something happened?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not allowed to tell you anything.
Get out of my bloody way. I need to see her!
Not ideal, I'm afraid, but best we could manage at short notice. Use anything you like.
Thank you, sir. This will be fine. Before you go, I wonder, would you mind fleshing out some of the dry bones for us, Dr. Mayer?
Of course.
Take a seat, Dr. Mayer. Now then, sir. How well did you know Hilary Robarts?
We were lovers for a time. That doesn't necessarily imply anything more than physical intimacy, but well, I'd say that I knew her as well as anyone here on the station.
Was she a popular person?
She was highly efficient.
That's not what I asked.
More respected than liked, perhaps.
Is it usual for you to be working on a Sunday evening?
I spent Friday in London. I needed to do some catching up.
And you were alone in the computer area, were you?
Is this really relevant? I have a great deal to do this morning, Chief Inspector, and so have you, no doubt.
Dr. Mayer, you've had 2 violent deaths amongst your staff in the space of 1 week.
Quite. And then I can hardly be held accountable for the Whistler being still at large.
Of course not. When did your affair with Miss Robarts end?
3, 4 months ago.
Without rancor?
It had simply run its course.
And she felt the same, did she?
Well, I imagine so. We both of us had some regrets, naturally, but then... Well, I don't think either of us assumed that we were indulging in a grand passion.
And there was no other man?
None that I know of.
Then would it surprise you to learn that she wrote to her solicitor as recently as yesterday morning, requesting an appointment to discuss her will in the light of her forthcoming marriage?
Yes, very much.
We found this among her papers.
Well, I suppose there could be someone that none of us knew about, but... I'm afraid I really can't help you.
In that case, thank you, sir.
Is that all?
For the time being, yes.
Coffee bags and biscuits.
What kind?
Digestive.
Got any jockey?
Nah, just plain.
Here, let's hope they're not radioactive, eh? Elephants.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you.
Bit of a cold fish, wouldn't you, sir?
Hmm?
Mayor.
What's his name?
Clever, too. Can't see us getting much out of him.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'd say he gave us considerably more about the victim than he probably realised. And about himself, too.
Gov?
Hmm?
Mayor's research assistant, bloke called Toby Gledhill, just tried to break into Robart's cottage. Sort of the constable on duty and got away on his motorbike, he did.
Really? What are we doing about it? Got someone onto him?
I presume so.
Have we got a file on him?
I don't know. I'll have a look.
Almost finished.
Thank you, Ma'am. Yes.
Looks good.
Be off after today.
Mm-hmm.
Not afraid at all.
Afraid?
Out here on your own, now the old people's gone away.
No, no. It's perfectly safe.
They say it weren't the Whistler this time, it was someone else.
Who's that?
People.
Oh, I hope not. I can't believe that. It's bad enough having one murderer about.
I worried last night seeing you go out late. Could have been you he got hold of. Need to be far more careful.
Yes, of course. You're quite right. I will.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Adam Dalglish for Dr. Mayo.
Commander Douglas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Last night. I was on my boat. I have a 24-foot gaff cutter berthed at Blakely. I went out on the morning tide and stayed out till sometime after 10, I suppose.
Were you alone?
Yes. I used to sail with a friend. Now I sail alone.
Do you make a habit of that, sir? Sailing alone at weekends?
I don't make a habit of anything. I used to sail with a friend. Now I sail alone.
You had a dinghy with you, that right?
Yes, I did, as it happens. I also had a collapsible bicycle. But I didn't put ashore at the headland. Or anywhere else. Not even to murder Hilary Robarts.
Did you like Miss Robarts?
No.
You're very blunt. Why was that?
There aren't many people I actually like, as opposed to tolerate. She didn't happen to be one of them. You and your sergeant may not like each other, for all I know. That doesn't mean you're planning to murder each other, does it?
There was a portrait painted of Miss Robarts recently. Did you ever see that?
Yes, at the local pub. Blaney persuaded them to hang it for a few days.
Would you know who might have slashed and stolen that painting?
No. Unless it was Miss Robarts herself.
What, thrown it through her own window?
You think she'd have been more likely to chuck it through Blaney's? I agree. But whoever slashed it wasn't Blaney.
What makes you say that?
Because a creative artist, whether he's a scientist or a painter, doesn't destroy his best work.
I want to ask you one or two questions about Miss May's dinner party, where, by the way, you openly described the Whistler's methods.
Yes.
Including information which we had expressly asked you not to divulge. Why did you do that?
I was shaken. Couldn't really keep it back. Mutilated bodies, your trade, not mine. Why ask me about Miss May's dinner party? Dalglish was there, so you have a more experienced witness. I won't say police spy. That would be unfair.
Yes, it would also be offensive.
Exactly. That's why I haven't used the word.
Please sit down. You'll have some coffee?
No, thank you, Miss Mayor. Not at the moment. Now then, you keep house for your brother, I believe, Miss Mayor.
No, I keep house for myself. My brother lives here while he is in Norfolk. He could hardly administer the power station from his flat in London. However, I don't see what relevance my housekeeping arrangements have to Hilary Robarts' murder.
Alice!
Excuse me. May? May, come in. I have visitors. This is Chief Inspector Rickards and...
Dear Sullivan.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Look, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had to get out of the house. It's this awful Whistler business.
Sit down and I'll get you some coffee.
No, look, I'll go.
Don't be silly.
Just one quick cup then and I'll be off.
Well, now you've come, you might as well stay and hear what happened last night. That is, if that's allowed, of course.
Certainly.
Ah, David, you got a badge for Commander Darvish as well, haven't you? Right, yeah. This is mine.
So, you worked late?
Yes, on my proofs until 9:30. And then I went over to Ryan Blaney's to collect the portrait he wanted dropped off in Norwich.
That's Hilary Robarts' portrait, right?
Yes. I tried telephoning several times, but it was engaged. Well, I found out later one of the children had left the phone off the hook.
Why didn't he bring the portrait across to you?
His van was out of order. He was also so drunk he could hardly stand. He had told me to let myself into the shed and collect the painting, but it wasn't there.
So, what then? You went round and knocked on the cottage door?
Yes.
And how did he react when you told him that the painting wasn't there? Was he angry or surprised?
Well, it's hard to say. He beat the door lintel with his fists. Histrionic, but genuine, I think.
And then?
And then I suggested we telephone the police, and that's when we found the phone was off the hook.
Did you call the police, Miss Mayor?
No, he said there was no need. He'd call you in the morning. Well, what could I do? It was his painting after all.
You say he was too drunk to have driven anywhere?
Definitely. Except into the first ditch, even on a bicycle. Children were asleep, I think. Thank goodness. I did think of calling in on you, but then I remembered you were out taking the Copleys to the station.
No, I wasn't. The car wouldn't start. Mr. Sparks took them in the taxi.
So, you were at the rectory all evening, Mrs. Dennison?
Yes.
Did you go out at all?
No. Well, yes. Out into the garden for a few moments. That's all.
What time was that then?
Look, I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, I really shouldn't have interrupted. I'm sorry. Let's get going.
He seems to have disappeared. What? Yeah. Probably a perfectly good reason.
But you're concerned, nevertheless.
Oh, yes, yes. It's very unlike Toby not to show up. Under a good deal of stress recently, of course.
His research?
Among other things. I'm so sorry. It's no use me trying to explain him to you.
Yes, I know. I have met him.
He didn't kill Hilary, if that's what they're worried about.
Is that what you're worried about?
Yes. But I know I'm wrong.
Do you think she hurt him?
Yes. Yes, she hurt anyone who got close to her.
And he's particularly vulnerable.
Yes.
You know a lot about him.
I love him.
Caroline. You've met Commander Dalgleish. Caroline Amphlett, my assistant.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Oh, we'll manage. Thank you, Caroline. Milk and sugar?
Just milk, thank you.
As if this murder business wasn't enough, I've got a bit of a panic on regarding my research assistant, I'm afraid.
Toby Gledhill. Yes, I'd heard.
Nothing too serious. You've met him, of course.
Yes, occasionally.
I've been worried about him for several weeks, I must admit.
In what way?
Oh, increasing signs of paranoia, imaginary problems, end-of-the-world scenarios, that sort of rubbish. Disturbing, nonetheless.
Has anything been done about it? Doctor, psychiatrist?
Things can never be quite straightforward with Toby. It's a fragile balance, one false move, and who knows? This industry needs brains like Toby's. This country, too.
There's just one final question I'd like to ask you, Miss Mayor. Your brother can't have got home much before midnight yesterday. Did it ever occur to you to ring him on his car phone or at the power station to see why he was delayed?
No.
May I ask why not?
Alex isn't my child or my husband, Chief Inspector. I don't have to check on his movements.
But he lives with you, don't he? I mean, you must talk. You must have known about his relationship with Miss Robarts. Did you approve?
To approve or disapprove would have been as presumptuously impertinent as that question. If you wish to discuss my brother's private life, I suggest you do so with him.
Tell security, get Dr. Gledhill brought up to me. No, here first. I'll deal with the police.
Toby? Oh, my God.